But 1918, a lot of blacks were recruited to come to Fort Wayne. They worked for the Pennsylvania Railroad. There was a strike there at the Roundhouse, and was located at that time where our post office is located at the present time. Blacks were recruited by a recruiter to come and work there in 1918. And then Bass Foundry sent a representative south to recruit blacks to come and work there. International Harvester brought blacks to Fort Wayne when they became established, and those blacks came here from Akron, Ohio. But they did janitorial work, and I know some of those black guys that came to work at the Harvester, and they were mostly janitors. They came, and it was not until the 40s that they were allowed to work on machines. And the beginning guys at the International Harvester worked there for 26 cents an hour. But it was basically in the 40s when blacks came to Fort Wayne en masse. And you know, President Roosevelt passed a fair employment practice law in 1940-41 because the war was beginning and factories were beginning to open, and he said any factory that made products, ammunition, equipment for the government, they had to hire black people. So because of that, the population in Fort Wayne practically doubled. Generally, a lot of people came from Alabama. Most of the black people in Fort Wayne today are from Alabama. My family's from South Carolina, but my uncle came from Alabama because he had been to a trade school there, and that's why he was recruited from Alabama. But the greatest population, and I've traced the birth of through the death records of the people from Fort Wayne and where they originated from, and they did originate from Alabama. We had a great influx of blacks in the 1940s. We also had a great influx of blacks in the 1960s. I think in 1940 we had about 2,500 black people in Fort Wayne. And from the 40 to the 60s, that population doubled. We had over 5,000. And in the 1990s, the population doubled again. We have between 12 and 14,000 African American people in Fort Wayne. And most of them originated from, and I've traced their roots, and they are from Alabama.
All right. During the migration, from when you were just a kid, and when, like I said, everybody basically knew each other, what was it like for you? Going to elementary, middle, and high school. Did the teachers care about you? Did the teachers push you and things like that?
Well, I guess my circumstances were just a little bit different than many of the other black children, because the teachers did not, well, I can only speak specifically of the teachers that I had. I went to Justin Studi School, and today, I have my records from kindergarten to 6th grade, my entire records of my school attendance and my school grades. I went to Justin Studi School, and some teachers, well, some black children did not do well in school. And, well, when you graduated, like from Studi, there was a school that was called Jefferson. You had a choice of going to Jefferson, which was like a junior high, or going to Hoagland, which was on the south side of Taylor Street. Or you could go to Washington, which was on the north side of Taylor Street. Well, nevertheless, at Studi School is where I first went from kindergarten to 6th grade. I did real well at Studi School. The teachers were very nice to me. And I find that there were special teachers that were very nice to black children, and there were other teachers and that kind of ripped them off. They just said, well, those children will never succeed, or anything like that. But then there were some among us who were very successful black people and smart children, even in elementary school. So I can say that it all depended on the child, but I did not find that I was discriminated against in elementary school at all. As a matter of fact, I managed to be the teacher's pet. And I represented our school in third grade. I traveled with Sergeant Donovan. He was the humane officer, and they had Be Kind to Animal Week, and the kids traveled and went to different schools and spoke. He took about 10 children, and we traveled to different schools, and I was chosen to go from Studi School. I also represented Studi School in the spelling contest. At that time was on the radio, WOWO, and I was a representative in that spelling contest from Studi School. I cannot say that I was segregated against, but I kind of think I was special because I had been the type child who had been motivated and encouraged to do my best in school, where a lot of children did not receive the attention and the motivation that I had received. Now, Washington was just mediocre. When I went there at first, there were only 3 black kids in the school, and very few black children went to Washington. Some from Studi were sent to Jefferson because they said, well, that was the dumb school, and they were sent to Jefferson. So far as Central High School is concerned, we were never motivated at Central. The dean did not call you in and tell you what course you were to take. They just took it for granted that all black people were not going to go to college, so you took a general course or vocational. They did not pay any special attention to blacks, not as far as I know. Maybe some they did, but we were not allowed to go to the school dances in high school. Example, when Central won state in 1943, we were turned away from the dance celebration, and we had black guys that had won on the basketball team. They could go, but no other black people were allowed to go. I should say that in high school there was very little attention paid to the black kids. I worked on the newspaper. We could not be cheerleaders. So many things we were denied in high school at Fort Wayne, even up to Central High School. But that is where I attended. I achieved, I did well because I had relatives who were interested, and they pushed me. Very few blacks went to Southside High School, but most of them did go to Central High School. So far as education in Fort Wayne is concerned, I am relatively not, well, I don't know if I'm real happy with it or not, but we did not have any black teachers. The first black teacher was hired in 1952. That was Gloria Morton Finney. She taught 2nd grade at Hannah Street. She was the very first black teacher that we had in Fort Wayne. And she was hired under, I think it was Mr. Lindley. I don't think it was under Lester Grau, but I think it was under Mr. Lindley, because Lester Grau was not in favor of black teachers, but Gloria came in 1952, and she was at Hannah School. The following year, 2 other black teachers were hired. Mary Ray was hired about 1953 or 1954. She was 4th grade teacher at Hannah School. Pauline Ford was hired the same year Mary was hired, and she taught at Harmer School. Very difficult for blacks to be hired in education in Fort Wayne. That is why we have so very few now. We had a very late start. Fort Wayne realized that they needed black teachers, and in the 70s they hired teams to go to the southern colleges to recruit black teachers. And I was one that was hired to go south to recruit black teachers. My recruiting territory was North Carolina. However, more teachers were recruited and brought to Fort Wayne from Alabama. Stillman College was one of the greatest that teachers came to Fort Wayne from. They were recruited by Andrew Dotson.